Hello, hello, hello. How you doing today? I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Um, Here are some weird things that you may not know when it comes to buying and selling real estate or refinancing. But before we jump into that, I want to read you a new testimonial that come in here recently. Um, you can find this testimonial and others at this particular testimonial at wyomingforsale.net. Um, this is from Jeremy. I've had multiple successful deals with Jason and Kinney. They are not only professional, but also very accommodating to the many complexities that go with the real estate market. You will definitely feel that you have someone in your corner looking out for your best interests. So thanks, Jeremy, for that. Appreciate you sharing that. Like I said, you can find that on Google reviews or this particular website, wyomingforsale.net. So let's jump into today's topic. Credit card debt or any debt. At some point, it's going to catch up to you. The piper's going to get paid. Um, it's one of those things that keeps coming back around, and I'm going to share a couple stories with you to kind of bring this to light. Last year, I represented a seller slash buyer that after we got into the process, I learned from the lender that we had to net a certain amount of money from their sale for them to be able to purchase. And as we were going through the goal setting and figuring out all the objectives for our customers, it was revealed that they had multiple credit card debts and a vehicle debt and some other stuff. And when I say multiple, we could count the credit card debts on two hands. Now I'm not bringing these people down by any means. I'm just saying this was the scenario that presented itself to me as their realtor and their mortgage lender. This we see this more common than not here recently. So that was last year. Here recently, I've been in touch with another potential seller and talking again goal setting with their mortgage lender. Same situation, multiple credit cards, got some vehicle debts, student loan debts, and all going to have to be handled correctly for them in order to sell and then turn around and buy their next home. So we deal with this on a regular basis. We know how to deal with it. It takes some cooperation and good marketing and good goal setting and good teamwork among our customers, ourselves as realtors, and the mortgage lenders. And assuming this is all assuming that there's plenty of equity play in the property we're selling, right? So now here's how some of this works. And you should be aware if you're kind of bogged down on credit card debt or vehicle debts, or I'll just name them off here: student loan debts, car debts, business debts, back taxes. We see this from time to time. Forbearances. We're 3 years past the COVID, the coronavirus bailout money or bailout scenarios that Congress had for us back in 2020 and 2021. Some of those things are coming to fruition now in the forbearance sector of the world. And here's how this gets handled on the sell-buy relationship of a transaction or on a refinance. You may have these debts, all of which can be handled appropriately. On the sell-buy, I would need to know that there's a good amount of equity in your property, and we sell it and pay off said debts, or a good portion of those debts, all of which you're going to sit down with your mortgage lender and itemize the good debts from the bad debts, or the ones that are bringing down your debt to income ratios worse than others, all of which no one picture is the same, no one person's situation's the same. Scenarios are always different. Interest rates terms on these loans, the volume or the amount on these loans is always different. So, my scenario might be different than yours, and different from your buddies, and different from your girlfriends, and your cousin, and whatever. Like, you're not going to talk to two of the same people ever with the same scenario. So that's where kind of planning and good consulting work comes into play between myself and the mortgage lenders. But anyway, we figure out what has to and what can get paid off to bring those debt to income ratios back into level. Ideally it'd be nice to get rid of all the debts except for your mortgage, right? Or your next mortgage. That's not always the case either. So it's just about being doing your a good due diligence here, and figuring out a best plan, or doing best practice here on what's going to better your lifestyle and put you in a better situation than you are today. Now that can involve, I'll just throw it out there, a good lot of folks right now are sitting on mortgages that are less than 4%, all of which is, some of our experiences now are starting to tell us are traps, because you're accumulating debts in other categories. Credit card debt, you're not paying down the student loan debt, or you're out getting car loan debts or whatever. All these debts, if they're a little fresher, minus the student loan debt, that one isn't going to be so high. But if you've got a car loan here in the last couple of years, or credit cards especially, I'd be far-fetched to find somebody paying less than 17% interest on a credit card. And car debts, it could be anywhere from 5 to 9%, unless you bought a brand new one and got one of those introductory rates or whatever. But at any rate, we're speaking to a good lot of real estate owners right now that are like, well, we're not going to sell our house and get rid of our 3 or 4% mortgage rate, and then come to find out they're accumulating this other debt on the backside that nobody's talking about. Well, there's a good chance right now that you could pay off them credit cards, pay off some student loan debt, pay off those vehicles, and refinance, or do a sell and buy something more comfortable, or get something that fits your needs more now than what you currently have, and get that 6 or 7% interest on a mortgage, and your total debt to income is going to go down. I think that's a serious conversation that needs to be brought to the table for more folks than are willing to admit right now. And I was just having this conversation with one of our local mortgage lenders here last week, and she was saying the same thing. And she sees something coming on the student loan or the student debt side that I had not been paying attention to. Sounds like there was some forbearances or temporary debt relief that was there on student loans that all of a sudden here in 2024 are no longer going to exist, and all of a sudden there's going to be this catch-up period, right? Like, you had this debt sitting out there and didn't have to do anything about it. Now all of a sudden it's going to catch up, and the piper's going to get paid, right? So anyway, I think we need to put this out there and start opening up more conversations on what does your entire financial globe look like right now. What's all in that circle for you? What's it look like? Has something changed? Medical debts, we run into this quite a bit too. I didn't get that on my list, but medical debts. I think that this is all stuff here in 2024 moving forward here for the next few years we're going to have to focus on for each and every individual and each and every family. So anyway, sometimes it's going to be as simple as selling your current house and buying the new one. You may not have good enough equity on the refinance to cash in all your chips and erase some debt. You may, and it could be a downsize, right? Like maybe you're up here and you downsize properties. Well, then all of a sudden you've increased your margin of equity because you're not buying a, in the same price range or same neighborhood or whatever. You might be at the 500,000 and you downsize into a $350,000 range. Well, now all of a sudden you've created 150,000 extra in equity that you have, right? And you actually, instead of refinancing, you just went and purchased something else that, and again, making your lifestyle more comfortable. There's all kinds of situations that I think we need to get on the table for everybody. There's going to be times where we do debt consolidation for you and you buy up, right? Like families growing, or you're doing more with livestock now, or the business is growing. Something's changed in the last 3 to 5 years to where you need more space. We may be looking at scenarios like that. We don't know until we visit with you. But anyway, I just wanted to bring this to light that I think it's our recommendation right now is to, we know having that 3 or 4 or 5% mortgage is very, very appealing. But if there's things on the backside that are costing you money and bringing you down, especially your net monthly income, if that's getting brought down, let's open up the conversation. Since Thanksgiving here, we've seen interest rates relax a little bit. We're no longer in the 8% range for sure. We're down in the 7s and in the high 6s, depending on credit score and debt to income and equity. There's all kinds of things that play a role in what your interest rate's going to be if you're quoted on a refinance or buying something new. But the point is, now is the time to start rethinking these conversations. So anyway, I'm Jason Walker, and thanks for being a subscriber. If you got questions or anything you want to talk about, you can leave some comments down below, or call us, text us, do whatever, and we sure be glad to sit down with you and see what the picture looks like for you. Catch you on the next video. Talk to you later.